Hey, this is Leif Ganford. I played the cash register thief in The Amazing Spider-Man, and you're listening to the Everything Geek podcast.
Hey, this is Rich McDonald, and I play Commander David Mason on Call of Duty Black Ops 2. And you're listening to Everything Geek podcast.
Hello, I'm Simon Fisherbecker. You probably know me better as Dorian Moldovar from Doctor Who, or the Fat Friar from Harry Potter. And this is Everything Geek Podcast.
Your attention, masters, mistresses. All systems functional for the Everything Geek Podcast.
Hey, it's James Arnold Taylor, the voice of Obi-Wan Kenobi and Master Plo in Star Wars The Clone Wars, and you're listening to Everything Geek, the podcast.
Face it, Tiger. You just hit the jackpot with the Everything Geek podcast.
Hello everyone, you're listening to the Everything Geek podcast. I'm your host Ruari, and joining me today is a very special guest. We have actress Erin Cahill, who is best known for playing Jennifer Jen Scott's / Pink Time Force Ranger in Power Rangers Time Force and Power Rangers Wild Force. Voice of Chloe Karma Lynch in Call of Duty Black Ops 2, Sarah Maris in Boogeyman 3, Felicity in Red Widow, Cassandra in General Hospital, Heather Mosby in How I Met Your Mother, Elizabeth in Supernatural, Rachel Hemming in CSI Miami, and the voice of Carla the Jackal in James Bond's Agents Under Fire. So how are you today, Erin?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well. It's a pleasure to have you join us on the podcast. Definitely. So getting right into the questions, my first question for you is, how did you decide you wanted to become an actress?
Well, I grew up in Virginia, and my mom was a high school teacher, and she was doing a play, and she needed a kid for the play, so she was like, you're going to do this play. And I was like, oh, okay, yay. And that was it, really. I was, 4 years old, did my first play, and I just knew I wanted to be an actress for the rest of my life. I was like, that's what I want to do. So I did another play when I was that age, and I went to then I just went on to study theater and dance, and still do. But I got lucky. I got really lucky that at 4 years old, my mom told me I was going to do a play, and then I did it.
Yeah. It's just great when parents have such a big influence on what you want to do, isn't it?
Myself anyway. Because I feel like it's definitely one of the things I'm here to do. But I just got so lucky. My parents belated birthday to my mom. Belated birthday to my mom. Belated birthday to my mom.
Yeah, happy belated birthday to Erin's mother.
Thank you.
Yeah. Nice little shout out for your mum there. Yeah. But that's great. I mean, the way you got into acting, like I said, it's always great when your parents have an influence on what you do in some ways. That's great.
I know, it's so lucky.
Yeah. So, moving on to my second question. How did you get cast as Jennifer Jen Scott / the Pink Force Ranger in Power Rangers Time Force? And what interested you in becoming part of the already well-established Power Rangers franchise?
I I feel so lucky to have auditioned for that role because it was a crazy process. I went in when I was 19 years old, and I'd only ever really done film and TV, and I mean, I've only really ever done theater. I hadn't really started doing film and TV yet, and so I actually met the casting director in Florida. I was overall actor at a convention called the American Model and Talent Convention, and they brought me back as a special guest. And the casting director, Iris Hampton, who still to this day feels like family. She's just the sweetest woman. She was like, "What are you doing right now? You have to come audition for Power Rangers." And of course, I knew what they were and who they were. So I was like, well, yeah, sure. And it was a crazy process. It was over the course of, I want to say, 8 months. There was something like 8 or 9 auditions. It was very, very intense. And the last audition was actually one of my favorite stories. And Jason Fox tells us as well that it was really fun because it was, they brought back, I don't know how many, let's call it maybe 6 or 7 or 8 people per role. And you could tell who you were up against because it was like, like 5 or 6 or whatever, very beautiful black girls, and then like white guys that looked like 10, and then like Latino dudes. It was very funny because you knew exactly who your competition was. And I remember it was so intense and nerve-wracking because they would send you home one at a time. So you would go on audition and they would mix you and match you and pair you up with different groups of people, and then they would just send people home. So it was very like, by the end of the day, they kind of like knew who they wanted to cast because there were only certain people left, and they had us all in the room together. And that's how we ended up working with Michael Cook and Jason Font and Kevin Kleinberg and Deborah. It ended up being a little family. So I just feel so lucky to be part of the franchise. It's really a piece of history, and it really stays with people forever.
Definitely, I completely agree. My third question is, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the original Power Rangers series, was and still is considered the most popular Power Rangers show among a large number of fans. Did you feel that it would be a challenge to be a part of a show in Time Force if you knew this when taking on the role and make that series popular as well?
Can you repeat the question?
Okay, sure. Just give me a second. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the original Power Rangers series, was and still is considered the most popular show among a large number of fans. Did you feel it would be a challenge to be part of a show in Time Force if you knew this in advance when taking on the role and making that series popular in Time Force as well?
Oh, that's such an interesting question because I think for me anyway, as an actor, I can't think about how big something's going to be or the impact it's going to have because that'll just make me a little crazy in my brain, trying to think too far in the future. So I think I was just lucky enough to just be happy to be part of it. And it's funny because I was so young. I don't think I really thought about the impact I was going to have on young women or the impact it was going to have on young people in general because I was so young and just getting started with my career. So I feel so lucky to have done that. So yeah, I don't have to change my performance or anything, knowing what an impact it had. I just feel lucky that I didn't think about it too much, and I just did the best job I could do, and was the best role model I could be. And and years later, it's so cool to see the effect that this show and our season in particular has had on fans. We have such a loyal following of fans. We're so in love with our fans. So hi, you guys. We love you. We love you. We love you.
And I'm sure they love you as well. I'm sure the feeling's mutual after all. Yeah. So, moving on to my fourth question, can you talk about your role as the voice of Chloe Karma Lynch in Call of Duty Black Ops 2? Were you familiar with the Call of Duty games given the popularity of the franchise before taking on the voice?
Well, it's funny. Yeah, definitely. I've heard of Call of Duty. because of my different appearances at conventions and things, I've definitely learned more as time has gone on. You know what's so funny is that when I auditioned for that, I didn't know what I was auditioning for. It was super top secret. You had to sign all these consent forms, and they didn't even tell you what it was. Not just a character, but they didn't tell you you were auditioning for Call of Duty. They just said it was a very big video game franchise. So it was really interesting because I auditioned for it like I auditioned for lots of roles. You know, some things I get offered, but sometimes I still audition too. So I just treated it like a normal role. Then when I got the call, I got it, and that it was Call of Duty. I was like, wow, that's really amazing. So that was really fun, and I'm again so lucky to be part of such a huge piece of history. I've gotten so lucky to be included in these things, and be able to be part of them. So it was really fun. And it was nothing I'd ever experienced before because I'm used to regular film and TV with just a couple of cameras and doing multiple takes and doing coverage and getting close-ups and wide shots and two shots and over the shoulders and video games. There's none of that. You're in the suit with the dots and you do it just a couple times. You rehearse for hours and then you do it just a couple times and boom, they got it. Because they have a couple hundred cameras, little tiny cameras. It's so cool. I can talk about it forever. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm sure the listeners won't mind you talking about it forever.
Yeah, and I got to work with Michael Rooker and Julian Sands, and it was a really cool experience.
Yeah, definitely, that sounds really great.